This is the 3D VIEW-MASTER fairy tale Arabian Nights. VIEW-MASTER Reel 1. Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp. Part 1. Picture 1. Many years ago, in an eastern city, lived a poor boy called Aladdin. One day, as he was seeking work, he met a magician who led him to a valley in the mountains which surrounded the city. Here he ordered Aladdin to build a fire and threw a black powder into the flames while uttering strange words. There was a noise like thunder. Dense smoke arose, and when it cleared, they saw in the ground before them a stone slab with a larger copper ring. "Fear not," said the magician. "Do as I say, and you will become very rich. First, raise that slab. If you say aloud the names of your father and your father's father, it will move." Obediently, Aladdin repeated the names and tugged at the ring, which lifted the slab to reveal stairs leading down into the earth. The magician then gave Aladdin a ring, saying, "This will protect you from harm. Listen carefully and do just as I say. Pass through 4 halls, go through the garden, and at the end, under the fruit trees, you will find an old lamp. Bring that back to me, and on your return you may take all the jewels you wish from the jars in the 4 halls. Picture 2. Aladdin did as he was bid, and on his way back he marveled at the wonderful gems. Filling his pockets to overflowing, he was so weighed down when he got to the stair that he called to the magician for help. "Give me the lamp," said the wicked man. "That will help you." "It's not the lamp that weighs me down," replied Aladdin. "I'll give you that when I get to the top." At this, the magician grew furious, suspecting Aladdin of wanting to steal the lamp, and called his demons to seal up the stairway and bury Aladdin inside. Beneath the earth, the frightened Aladdin began to weep and wring his hands, and accidentally rubbed the silver ring. At this, a fearful genie appeared, saying, "Command me. I am the slave of the ring." In a trembling voice, Aladdin asked to be set free. At once the cavern and the genie disappeared, and Aladdin was alone in the valley. Rejoicing in his freedom, he fled home. Picture 3. Telling his mother of his adventures, Aladdin gave her the gems and fell asleep, exhausted. The next day he thought he would sell the old lamp. "We'll get a better price if it is polished," said his mother, and began to rub it. At this, a giant genie appeared, saying, "I am the slave of the lamp and of him who holds it." Aladdin's mother fainted in fear, but Aladdin snatched up the lamp and commanded the genie to bring them food. At once a feast lay before them, and Aladdin and his mother dined royally. Picture 4. They were both afraid of the genie and the lamp and did not use it again for a long time. But one day, when Aladdin was in the market, he heard the Sultan's slaves clearing everybody off the streets as the Sultan's beautiful daughter was going to the bath. He hid behind the door and caught a glimpse of the princess. So beautiful was she that he straightway fell in love with her. Picture 5. Against his mother's advice, Aladdin resolved to marry the princess, so his mother went to the court with some of the enchanted gems to plead his suit. "Sir," she said to the Sultan, "my foolish son asks for the hand of the princess." At this the Sultan laughed merrily, but when she uncovered the gems he was astounded. "Bring me a wedding gift of 40 bowls such as this, and your son's wish is granted." Picture 6. She went sadly home to tell Aladdin what the Sultan had said. But his request was easy, for the genie of the lamp and the wedding gift of jewels appeared at once. So impressed was the Sultan that he ordered Aladdin to appear and formally gave him the hand of his daughter. Picture 7. Aladdin asked that the wedding might take place the next day, and overnight the genie built an exquisite palace of alabaster and gold. After the wedding, Aladdin led his princess to this golden palace, where they lived in great happiness. VIEW-MASTER Reel 2, Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp, Part 2, Picture 8. The magician who had left Aladdin for dead returned to Africa, and, looking one day into his enchanted crystal, he was amazed to find that Aladdin with the wonderful lamp had disappeared from the underground halls where he had left him. Where could he be? At last he saw the golden palace and the wonderful lamp lying carelessly in the princess's home. He began to plot to regain the lamp. Picture 9. Flying by magic to Aladdin's city, he bought a dozen bright new copper lamps and, disguised as a peddler, he waited outside the golden palace till he saw Aladdin go off hunting. Then he stood under the princess' balcony and called, "New lamps for old! Who will trade their old lamps for shining new ones?" The princess and her ladies laughed at him for an old fool, and gladly traded the dirty old lamp for a new one. Picture 10. Overjoyed, the magician hurried away and rubbed the lamp. When the genie appeared, he commanded him to transport the golden palace, the princess and himself to Africa. "Set us down in the desert beside my secret tower." This the genie obediently did. Picture 11. Next day, when the Sultan looked out at the golden palace, he was astonished to find it had vanished. "Even as I feared, Aladdin has, by his black magic, spirited away the palace and my beloved daughter." Overcome with grief, he ordered Aladdin's death. As Aladdin returned from hunting, unaware of what had happened, the Sultan's guards seized him, bound him and dragged him off to execution. When the people learned what had happened, they stormed the palace in angry protest, for they loved Aladdin and were just in time to prevent his dead being cut off. Picture 12. Only then did Aladdin learn of the disappearance of his palace and his bride. The Sultan freed him on condition that he should bring back his daughter within 40 days. Sadly, Aladdin wept and wrung his hands, and again accidentally rubbed the silver ring. The genie of the ring immediately appeared. "Take me to my palace and my bride," cried Aladdin. At once the genie sat him down in Africa beside the palace. Picture 13. Entering, Aladdin found the princess in tears, and when he asked for his old lamp, she confessed to having exchanged it with the wicked magician. How could they get it back? Since the magician always carried it on him, the princess invited him to sup with her that night. After much food and drink, she offered him a loving cup in which there was a powerful sleeping potion. Without a thought, the wicked man drank it off and fell to the ground as if dead. Picture 14. Rushing in, Aladdin plucked the lamp from the dazed magician, rubbed it, and ordered the genie to bring the sultan to them in Africa. When he saw his daughter and the wicked magician on the floor, the sultan gladly forgave Aladdin, and the genie was ordered to transport the palace and all of them back to their own city, where they lived happy ever after. VIEW-MASTER Reel 3, The Magic Carpet, Picture 1. Long ago in Persia there lived a caliph who had beautiful gardens and a still more beautiful daughter called the Princess Parizade. She loved to wander through the gardens with her ladies and watch the gardener and his son, Kamar, at work. One day, in a far corner of the gardens, the princess found a large stone jar. "Oh, do let's open it," cried one of the girls. But when the princess looked at it, she saw that it was sealed with the seal of Solomon. "It is said, my lady," murmured Kamar, who was working nearby, "that Solomon sealed evil spirits in just such a jar." But the girls begged and pleaded till the princess gave her consent, and her handmaids opened the jar. Picture 2. In a wisp of blue smoke there appeared from the jar a monstrous genie. "I am Al-Rahad," he thundered. "For 7 centuries I have lain in this jar. Now I will take my revenge." Kamar snatched up his fork to defend the princess, but quick as lightning the genie caught up the terrified Parizade, and together they vanished. Picture 3. Kamar ran to the palace, burst into the caliph's council chamber, and told him what had happened. Grief-stricken, the caliph promised his daughter's hand in marriage to her rescuer. The news spread quickly, and many gallant knights and rich merchants rode out to search for the princess. Last of all went Kamar, with his gardener's fork over his shoulder, to rescue his princess. Picture 4. Sunset found him in the desert beyond the city. There he met an old traveler who called out, "Alms for the love of Allah! The others have passed me by with not a single coin." "Alas, I have no money," said Kamar, sitting down beside the old man. "But half my bread is yours." When they had finished every crumb, the old man said, "Kamar, son of the gardener, you have shared your only loaf with Salim, the magician. In return I give you this carpet and robe. With them you can rescue the Princess Parizade." Picture 5. Kamar looked in amazement at the tiny carpet and fragile silver robe. How could he conquer a genie with those? Then Salim said, "They are magic. Stand on the carpet and say to it, 'Fly.'" Kamar did so, and at once the carpet was floating in mid-air while he peered nervously over the edge. "You see," called up the magician to him, "it is magic. It will take you wherever you want to go. The rope, too, is enchanted, but cast it with the speed of light before the genie can say the charm that defeats the magic." Thanking Salim, Kamar said to the carpet, "Fly to the Princess Parizade." Picture 6. With the speed of the wind, the carpet took him to the great cavern where Al-Rahad held the princess prisoner. "Ho, ho," laughed the genie, "a foolish mortal who would rescue the princess. Run before I turn you to ashes." "I have a present for you," said Kamar, "this robe from Salim." At this the genie realized his danger, but before he could roar out the charm, Kamar threw the magic rope round his neck and he shrunk to a tiny dwarf, raging fertile in a high piping voice. Picture 7. The magic carpet took them back to the palace and floated in the air just outside the caliph's window, who thought he was dreaming. "Can that be my daughter and Kamar, the gardener's son?" he cried. "Father," called the princess, "we are real. Kamar has rescued me from this wicked genie." Crying with joy, the caliph gave Kamar his daughter's hand in marriage, and they lived happily in the beautiful gardens forevermore.